In this country, people are concerned about their economic future. They're very concerned about it. And they wonder whether somebody is getting something to keeping them from getting it. That's not the America that I've ever known. My father used to say, Johnny, we don't hate the rich. We just want to be the rich. And we just got to make sure that every American has the tools in K through 12 and in vocational education and higher education. And we got to fight like crazy so people can think the American dream still exists, because it does.
All right, that was Ohio Governor John Kasich at the GOP debate earlier tonight. Governor Kasich joins us now from the spin room. He's in South Carolina. Governor, good to see you. How'd you feel about it?
Great, Sean. I got to talk, I think, about the things that Americans really care about, and that is their job, their children, their wages, so many of the things. Because as you talk about, you know, the underemployment, people who have been left behind, I got to talk about that tonight, and I thought it was a really well-managed debate. I'm very, very pleased.
I'll be honest, I thought this was the best debate so far in terms of substance. There was even some entertainment value at moments, but more importantly, we really got to hear from all of the candidates, including yourself. Let's talk about the polls. You've come up quite a bit in New Hampshire. You're now in double digits there.
I'm actually running in second place now.
Yeah,
and
look,
in three out of four polls. So, you know, that's the key for me, because if I can come out of New Hampshire and Hannity says, oh, look at Kasich here, you know, then I think...
that makes all the difference. If Hannity says it, that makes all the difference.
You know, since you're a buddy of mine, I'd love for you to say it, because you'll only say the truth. And if I come out of there as a big story, I will be known nationally. And secondly, I will be able to raise the money that I need. And I believe if I come out of New Hampshire as a story, Sean, I believe I'll be the Republican nominee.
You know, one of the things that is happening this year is there's this battle, this conflict, and everyone's writing and talking about it. Quote, establishment versus the more conservative insurgent wing of the party, if you will. And you see this in the polls. You see it playing out in the polls. You see that most Americans don't trust Washington Republicans. Maybe because you've been there, and maybe because you've been governor, you know, where do you put yourself in that battle or that conflict?
Yeah. You know, a media guy said yesterday, there's the establishment lane and the anti-establishment lane, but you, John Kasich, you're in your own lane. And I think that's why we're seeing the kind of rise that we're getting in New Hampshire, because I think that people are listening to not only my experience, the battles that I've fought, and what I want to do in the future, Sean. And I think that as a result of that, you know, I think it's connecting. And we have a great ground game up there with people who are true believers. You know, we got 6 or 7 guys living on mattresses in one of our campaign headquarters, and they're heating their food with hot plates. I mean, these are dedicated people, and I'm humbled by it. But what I have to say to you is, you know, it's sort of my own lane, and I just have to keep running in it and
I think
getting out there.
that's a fair statement. But I mean, when you and Newt Gingrich, and you did leave us with the last balanced budget, and I remember discussing and debating it on radio for a long time, and we ended up with a surplus for, what, 5 years, or 4 consecutive years.
Well, right, and we paid down $500 billion of the national debt.
Right.
And then they blew it all once we all left Washington. They spent it all, and it wasn't just Democrats. It was Republicans as well.
But you and Newt Gingrich at the time weren't exactly viewed as establishment. You were viewed as the... Well, I'm just being honest. You weren't exactly
You're
viewed
right.
as...
No, we were viewed as the troublemakers, the reformers.
And the country was better off. The country got a balanced budget. So my question to you is, you know, now because you've been in government longer than maybe other people that are on that stage, maybe some people in the country think, all right, well, you don't need these guys with experience anymore. How do you respond to that?
Well, because I was effective in the change I brought, Sean, and because I took on all the special interests, whether it were defense contractors ripping off the military, or whether it was the welfare reform, or whether it was Tim Penny and I, the Penny Kasich plan, trying to take a penny out of every dollar. And now in Ohio, I've been a big reformer. And, you know, people are getting jobs, wages are up. And so I think at the end, experience will matter as long as you're not go along and get along, and you know me long enough. That just ain't me. So, you know, you can't pin that label on me. That's why I think if I can get known and people can hear me, and I think many people heard me tonight, in my judgment, we will do well. I'll be the nominee.
You have been very critical of the front-runner Donald Trump. You've been somewhat critical of Ted Cruz at times, I've heard. Where do you stand with these guys now? Do you have more respect for them, having spent this time on the stage with them, gotten to know them better, listened to them more? I know you want to win, but you seem to be somewhat hostile towards them in the beginning. Has that changed at all?
Well, Sean, I've never been hostile towards them. It's just some of the policies. And, you know, I disagree vociferously with Donald Trump on the immigration and, you know, calling Megyn Kelly names and all that. I don't like any of that. But tonight, when he talked about the ripoffs that can happen in trade, I agree with him. Yeah. I think that, you know, we get some of these trade deals and then people cheat and we look the other way. It's not the right thing to do. Because you know what, Sean? We look the other way, they're hurting your father and my father, you know, not literally, but the people that built this country and fought the wars, they have to be stood up for by somebody. And I think that Trump hit a nerve, and I happen to be something I've been talking about for a very long time.
Well, your dad was a postman. My dad was a family court officer. And so I think the fact that so many of those people are struggling, the more the people hear that we can change this around and jobs can be created and the poverty ceiling can be broken and you know, getting people off of food stamps, that's an opportunity society that I think all of us want again, because it doesn't exist right now. So.
And Sean, in our state, wages are growing faster than the national average. We're up 385,000 jobs. I've cut taxes more than any governor in America. And our credit is strong, and we're running surpluses. I mean, how can you do better than all that? I just want to take that formula to Washington.
All right, Governor Kasich, always good to see you. Great job tonight.
Thanks, Sean.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.